I don't know that any game has benefited more from the power of the Switch 2 than Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. When these titles originally launched in 2022, they were a technical letdown, and that's putting it politely, even by Nintendo Switch standards. Frame rates often dip below the targeted 30 FPS, the open world areas looked jagged and barren, and visual glitches were common. This was particularly frustrating considering the potential we saw in Legends Arceus, which felt like a more cohesive vision for this new era of Pokemon. It felt like Game Freak's ambitions outpaced the Switch's capabilities, leaving Scarlet and Violet feeling like half-finished ideas. But with the Nintendo Switch 2, the difference is night and day. Performance is significantly improved, and even without a complete engine overhaul, these games now run closer to their full potential. Frame rates target 60 FPS in both docked and handheld modes, and while there may be minor dips in certain areas or in complex environments or battles, the gameplay feels smooth and responsive. The image quality is drastically improved, especially in docked mode. Anti-aliasing and DLSS-like upscaling appear to have helped create a cleaner, more stable visual experience. Gone are the heavy shimmering and crude animation windmills. NPCs and even Pokemon at a distance now animate fluidly and at full frame rates. What's even more exciting is how these changes impact gameplay. Features that once felt unusable, like auto battling or free roaming with your Pokemon, now feel like core mechanics. I found myself revisiting areas I'd skipped simply because the game no longer punished exploration with stutters or pop-in. Pokemon seem to spawn more naturally as well in cluster family-like groups, giving the world a more organic, lived-in feel. It's now only with the Switch 2's horsepower that Game Freak's open-world vision for Pokemon really clicks. Now, that's not to say that all the issues are gone. Texture quality, shadow resolution, and some basic environmental geometry really hasn't changed that much. Pop-in, while improved, does still exist, and Pokemon still disappear once they leave a certain radius. Cutscene visuals and pre-rendered assets remain low-res, and the lack of HDR support shows that this is still very much the same game under the hood, but the improvements where they matter most, performance, clarity, and animation, genuinely make this feel like a new experience. So much so that I'm considering buying Pokemon Scarlet when I had bought Pokemon Violet, just because I now want to replay the game, because it genuinely feels that new and different. If you were like me and you walked away from Scarlet and Violet disappointed at launch, now is the time to give it another chance. With its technical barriers largely removed, this updated version breathes new life into Paldea and shows that open world Pokemon games can actually work. And it has me very much excited for any of the new upcoming entries like Legends. If this is what the future of Pokemon on the Switch 2 is going to look like, then I am all in.